Time to step into the shoes of the working class. I've got 2 Tonka games for you today, starting with Tonka Garage. I still have my Tonka toys, the ones that were still made of metal because they didn't think we were stupid enough to hurt ourselves on them. I have many fond memories of loading myself into my dump truck, sticking my chest in the bed, then riding it around like a scooter. I don't know anyone else who ever did that. Of course, I'm not here to just ramble on about the good old days, but... well, maybe I am. Alright, let's get started.
Welcome to Tonka Garage Headquarters. Tonka Town sends all their big repair jobs here. I'm Tonka Joe.
Good old Tonka Joe. This won't be the last time you see him. He hangs out in the office, but as the series' recurring host, you'll always come back to the hub and see him doing something silly before saying,
"We've got a lot of vehicles that need fixing up. I'll be in the office."
Every single time. Well, I like the art style anyway. Tonka Town looks organic enough, especially with cars occasionally passing through. The same 3 or 4 cars passing through. And I don't really think there'd be a showroom right next to a junkyard and a mechanic. Getting some mixed vibes here. Well, let's start at the gas station.
Hey little dude, Chad here. This is the gas station where I work most of the time. That is, most of the time I work, not most of the time it's a gas station, cause like...
The dialogue is as awkward as the animation. If that was the goal, then, mission accomplished? Now there isn't actually anything here, which always confused me as a kid. I would keep coming back or sitting there waiting for something or looking around with my mouse, but there's nothing to do. What you actually have to do is wait for the gas bell to ring, then click it while it's highlighted. From there you can refill the gas, oil, whatever they need. Most of the action is pre-rendered 3D animations or sprites, sometimes in defiance of the laws of physics. And what's this, $1 a gallon? Man, those were the days. There is some variation in the gas station jobs, like filling the oil or the washer fluid, but you're just doing the same thing every time you come here. And what's worse, you gotta be careful about taking these jobs because when you go back to what you were doing, whoops, there goes all your progress. Look, now she's acting like this is my first time in the paint shop. All that work is gone now. Great. We'll come back to this.
Whoa, girl, settle down.
Doug and Pooch here run the Junkyard, where you get to play with a couple utility trucks. After all, what's a Tonka game without Tonka vehicles? They follow your cursor to simulate driving them around. It's pretty neat, but not flawless. You can very easily give them Roblox vehicle physics. You take old cars to the crusher, and then you take the resulting scrap metal to the furnace. The control is functional, but awkward. You have to be in just the right place to interact with things. All you do is operate the trucks and the machinery. Pooch will show you where to go, and the workers will move the metal for you. I bet workers wish trucks could move this fast and stop on a dime. It'd make their lives a lot easier. Then again, their bosses would then expect them to be more productive, and it just wouldn't be safe with all these big, hulking machines doing Mach 1 around the yard. You also wouldn't get a lot of reaction time if something or someone got in the way. Trucks are not known for having great acceleration, but that is a feature, not a bug. There's a reason you don't haul loads with a truck that does 0 to 60 in 1.5 femtoseconds. Anyway, the only other thing left to do here is blow shit up. Why not?
Now for the fireworks. Click on the detonator and plug your ears.
It's not that loud. I actually did used to plug my ears for this part, because I was expecting a loud bang. I was a sissy. Let's go to the mechanic.
Hi there. Glad you came to lend me a hand.
Oh look, it's those same 3 NPC cars. You see them on the roads, you see them in the gas station, and now they're here. You can work on the car, under the car, or under the hood. There's a few creative liberties taken. You saw off the muffler, then put a new one on, and it just magically stays there. Last I remember, you need a blowtorch to fasten that bad boy back on there. You can pound the dent out of the car, or pound the dent into it again. It's all the same either way, usually clicking the same spot 3 times to loosen it, get a replacement, then 3 clicks to tighten it. I do find it funny, though, that you use a cross wrench to change the tire. Screw that. Use a power tool to get the nuts on and off, then use a torque wrench to make sure they're on tight. Okay, off to the test track and crash test facility.
I'm Crash Test Tony, and this is my lovable and durable sidekick, Knox.
Anybody got an aspirin?
This duo here is one of the weirder additions to the cast. I mean, is this a crash test dummy ventriloquist, or whatever? This is where you can take cars around the test track to test their speed and handling. Change the speed, change lanes, and yeah, that's it. It's as basic as Hot Wheels slot car racing, but without the presentation or the set pieces. You need to avoid the cones because they reduce your speed, but then you can turn it back up again, so what's the point? You can change lanes or teleport to the other lane. It's as compelling as it looks. But you're getting a much better experience than I ever had as a kid. The computer I used to use couldn't handle a game like this, so this is what my experience looked and sounded like. No exaggeration. I don't know how I put up with this. After 5 laps, you get a report that has no bearing on anything at all. It's just for show and experimentation to see how different designs affect different cars. So obviously the better engine and aerodynamics on this car make it fast, but not durable.
Hey, where'd this giant beanbag come from?
You're telling me this crash test dummy has never seen an airbag before? The hell kind of safety standards do they have around here? Alright, let's crank up the speed a little. Oop, looks like Pooch found a new toy.
Thank goodness I'm made out of plastic.
More speed! And he sticks the landing. We're gonna save max speed for later. Let's head to the office and see what there is to see.
Come on in. This is the office. I just finished designing my own car.
Ooh, there's a good place to start. Car design is a 4-step process. First, you need to make parts in the junkyard, but we already did that, so we can go straight to the designer. Since the game is reliant on pre-rendered 3D assets, your options are a little limited. But you can still mix and match all you want to make your own trucks, cars, or hybrid abominations like this. I call it the pushover hauler. Next, you take it to the paint shop. What should be a simple task is complicated by the cumbersome controls. You don't know where you're actually spraying until you spray it. There's no feedback to show where you're about to spray. I used to dread the paint shop, because turning the car could, and often would, cause the game to get stuck in an infinite loop of slowly turning. I had to very carefully, very deliberately tap the turn controls, because if I got too carried away and clicked too many times, it would just lock up into an infinite loop and I would have to force close the game. Anyway, slap on a few decals if you want, and it's ready for the showroom floor. Masterpiece, I tell you.
Well, there she is. All finished and ready for the road.
Oh, it's ready all right.
Here we go again.
Anyone got a champagne bottle ready? Never mind, I've got an even better idea. Full speed! And nothing of value was lost that day.
Oh, I'm okay. Don't worry about me. I do this for a living.
The other point of interest in the office is the toolbox, which you fill by doing jobs. What are the jobs? Instances of everything you can already do on your own, except none of that mattered unless you did it as a job. What's the point? If you've already done everything at least once, it's just tedium at that point. But if you want the certificate and extra car parts to work with, you have to go through the motions again. I don't get it. Making parts in the junkyard of your own accord counts toward the process of making your own car. Why doesn't everything else count toward completion of jobs? The saving grace here is that you only need to do each job once. You've already seen everything, so I'll spare you. Lucky for us, Roxy's save file already has a full toolbox, and even her own car. Jesus, I'd hate to be racing against that thing.
Now that's a mean machine.
Jeez, you got that right. So that's Tonka Garage. It's a decent introduction to auto mechanics for kids, but not much else. At least it has personality.
Trade you a pepperoni pizza for some gas. No way, Thad. Your pizza's lousy, dude.
That personality extends into the other game in this line that I played, Tonka Search and Rescue. And you can already see in this overworld view that there's a lot of rescuing that needs to be done. All conveniently within walking distance of the station. No wonder we picked this place to set up shop.
Hello there. Glad you could make it to the dispatch center. I'm Tonka Joe, your partner today.
Well, look who's back. Did Joe decide he needed a career change or something? Ah! Personal space, buddy! The fuck is it with these animations? Okay, well... Once you've signed in, you can click on these buttons down below on the dashboard to learn about the vehicles you'll be using. Rescue boat, dump truck, bulldozer, dog, front loader, you know the drill. Our first stop is going to be the garage, where Sparks, the mechanic, makes her own triumphant return. Here you do some basic maintenance on the fire truck, boat, and helicopter. It's pretty much the same stuff you saw in the workshop in Tonka Garage. You put all the gear on the fire truck, matching it up with a silhouette, sometimes screw it into place, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Then you get to sit inside the fire truck and play with a bunch of gizmos and gadgets, and ultimately, drive it out of there. For like 10 meters, and then you go back. The boat needs a new coat of paint that does not in any way need to resemble an emergency vehicle. Add a few accessories here and there. And then you take it for a cruise of 10 meters. Are you noticing a pattern here? I should also note that none of this makes any difference in any of the actual rescue missions. Same with the helicopter. All you do is repair it, spooking the dog with some of the louder repairs inevitably. And that's it. None of the customizations you make will ever actually appear in the game, so none of this even matters. Well, at least my younger self was entertained by it. Besides, if you want all the awards, you have to do all this. But you only have to do it once for the awards, and after that, you can replay all of these whenever you want, just for fun. So here's my certification, with my name perfectly misaligned. I actually did print some of these back in the day, but those are long gone. Now it's off to the academy to learn how to rescue people, even though you can do these in any order you want. Which is to say, you can do the rescue operations before you do the training, which is a little ass backwards, but whatever.
All right, another member for the Tonka team.
I do admire that they went all out with these characters. I don't think Drill Sergeant Nasty would do well with the kids this game was aimed toward. And as you can see, the boat does not at all resemble the eyesore I painted at the garage. They could do it in Tonka Garage, why not here? On second thought, now I'm just getting nitpicky about shit I didn't even care about when I was a kid. Unsurprisingly, the vehicle control is identical to that of Tonka Garage. The objective here is simple. Navigate around the obstacles, pick up the person, or animal, and bring them back. But thanks to some VM-induced wonk, it's not quite behaving the way it should be. This won't be the last time either. Oh, wonderful. At this rate, the rescue's gonna need a rescue. Buoyancy problems aside, we can make it back to the dock no problem. Or rather, with slight difficulty, it seems. From here you got the choice of going back for another rescue, or just leaving here. The rescuee will change, but the process will not. Same with the helicopter. As much as I like how playful they get with these animations, the only practical change here is the scenery. You're just doing the same thing. Go to the right, pick someone up, go to the left, drop them off. I don't even think you have to rescue everyone to complete the training. I did just to be thorough. I mean, if I can pick everyone up and drop them all off in one trip, why shouldn't I? I don't know if the logistics would work with this helicopter, but... well, it works! The fire truck training is as monotonous as anything else. Click the fire, don't click the people. Or click the people, it doesn't matter. It seems like you have to extinguish a certain number of fires in the building to pass the training. I like that the firefighters applaud you with every fire you extinguish, but they show a distinct lack of urgency if you idle for long enough. The building is on fire, and you're just sitting around playing cards? Well, the devs have a good sense of humor, I'll give them that. And it is just a training exercise, with people inside the burning building. Okay, got my diploma. Time to go rescue people for real.
Nick Park here. We have big problems in the Tonka Town.
Seriously, what is with these people getting up in my face like this?
And some sailors are trapped on their boat.
This guy has the body language of a campy vaudeville
I
performer.
have to head down to the action myself, but I know you can save the day.
Promise to never get that close to me again and you got a deal. My first instinct here is to grab the boat and put out the fire, but the boat is actually there to help take care of the oil barrel fires on the water. That proves deceptively difficult. You can't aim the cannon, and lining up the ship in just the right spot to put the fire out is tricky. That's what I get for taking the boat first. It still turns out to be a good call because the next step is rescuing the crew on the ship. Suits me just fine. Human life is irreplaceable. I'm no expert on the subject, but I would imagine that a first responder's first priority should be getting the people to safety. And that's just what we do. All 4 of them. I don't suppose there are any naval enthusiasts watching this video who could tell us how many people you would need to run a big freighter like that. I'm curious. Anyway, next we get the backhoe and move the debris out of the way, with great difficulty because you have to line it up in just the right spot, to make room for the fire engine. A very glitchy fire engine. It wasn't this temperamental back then. I'm pretty sure this is just a byproduct of emulation. The rest of the operation is about what you'd expect. A wrecking ball to knock down the ruins, a front loader and dump truck to clean up the debris, and as an added bonus, a crane to help patch up the hull while we're here. Then a welder comes out of nowhere to finish the job. Again, I can't say I'm an expert in ship repair, but I feel like this is oversimplifying the process a bit. But I understand it's a kid's game, so they weren't going to show every little detail. Once all the barrels are out of the water, it's time to get to work building a new warehouse, or we could just replace it with Tonka Town's own Coney Island. Sure, whatever. Warehouse? Not here. House? Well, it's no roller coaster tycoon, but I think we can all agree that an amusement park is an objective improvement to this pier. Who needs logistics when you've got roller coasters? Mission accomplished. Off to the next job.
My name is Rudy Forrest, and I'm the zoologist here at the Tonka Town Zoo.
This zoo got ravaged by an earthquake, so we need to clean up the mess and get the animals back in their habitats. First things first, we need to get the animals to safety while we clean up their habitat. Nope, we just put them right back in their habitats and then fix them up. With the animals still in them. I mean, we're blowing fucking dynamite right below this polar bear enclosure. Is that even safe? Won't that stress out the bear? Stock explosion sound effect right out of AVGN. Now I've seen everything. I feel like I need to reiterate that I am fully aware that this is a game made for children, but I still find it infinitely amusing in hindsight how ass-backwards all of this is. You would think the animals need to be temporarily confined in a safe place first, then you fix the habitats, then you put them back in. I don't know, I don't run a zoo. I've seen scuba divers cleaning animal enclosures with the animals still in them, but this is a whole different ballgame. I mean, we're not even gonna fix the railing before putting the gorilla back? And what was that welder doing with the no, never mind, I don't want to know. Even the gorilla's just straight up, and take your shit with you. Just do your damn job and get out of here. Jokes aside, I really do admire how silly they're willing to be with these animations. They've got a fun sense of humor. It has the added benefit of streamlining otherwise tedious segments, which cuts down on time spent sitting around waiting for something to do. They get a lot more mileage out of the Tonka trucks in this game, too. In Garage, all you really see is the front loader, crane, and bulldozer. But my favorite part is they let you get in on the silliness here. You're meant to load the wood chips into the dump truck, but you could just drop them down wherever you want. All that happens is you're gently encouraged to try again. That amused me a lot more than it should have back in the day, probably because this is literally the only time you can do it. It doesn't even stop there. You repair this monorail track just in time for a train to cross. Shouldn't monorail operations have shut down well before we started repairing it? Do they not take safety seriously? Am I overanalyzing a game meant for 6-year-olds again? Now, I meant to fill a seal pool here, but I only see a sea lion enclosure, so that's probably what she means. Maybe it's a northern fur seal. Once again, you need to be in just the right spot, or it won't work. The last step is filling the cracks, which I feel should have been done before moving heavy machinery through here. But these are Tonka trucks, so they can handle it. The laws of physics need not apply.
Ooh, don't dump the dirt here.
Ooh, I'll be sure not to do that. I don't know why I found that line so funny, but I do. Once we bulldozed over these cracks, our work here is done, and we can decorate the zoo however we please. On to the last job.
Yeah, I'm Nate Codd, head constable here on the coast. We had a nor'easter blow through last night. It made a terrible mess.
A nor'easter caused a flash flood, knocked over trees, and I think you get the idea by now. Put out the fire, clean up the debris, and drop it wherever. Get the crane in place to repair the... Watch your step! 10 points. Yeah, we're just going through the motions again, aren't we? We need to fix the bridge here and clear the road so that we can get the rescue boat in there, using our magical teleporting bulldozer, naturally. But couldn't we just use the helicopter instead, like we do for the dog? They probably want a justification to include the tow truck and the rescue boat. Again, I'm not a first responder, so what do I know? It just feels like either the research wasn't as tight as Magic School Bus, or they just took creative liberties for the sake of variety. Last thing to do is use another stock explosion effect to clear the blockage. All the wreckage in the flood magically disappears, the houses are apparently undamaged, and it's mission accomplished. Decorate as you please. Let the insurance companies take care of the rest. Look at that headline. I'm a hero.
Tonka Town loves you.
Ooh,
Hey,
I really am a
you could be
hero.
running this town if you wanted to.
And that's Tonka Search and Rescue. Obviously, I've grown out of these games at this point, but they still have their charm and personality. These games are a fun little kid-friendly window into auto mechanics and first responder work. If you happen to be an auto mechanic or a first responder yourself, bless your soul, feel free to chime in with your thoughts. It'd be neat to get some insight from someone with more experience than me. These games kept me entertained for longer than they had any right to when I was young, but as a grown man, there really isn't that much to come back to. We'll see if the next game I cover will have better staying power than these. Stay tuned.